You're listening to She's the Business podcast, and today we're answering the question of how can I show up and be both authentic and professional in my business's social media and online presence. So stay tuned, it's coming right up. Hello. So today's episode is going to be a short and sharp one. It is school holidays here in Australia right now. Just got back from taking the kids for a game of tennis down at the local club, and I'm about to head off to the pools with them and take them to squads. So what do you do when you have 15 minutes spare? Yes, you jump on quickly and get the podcast episode recorded for next week. And today I thought I would cover a question that comes up fairly often. Well, I'd say not all the time often, but I've had it multiple times with my clients in Business Jam when we get to the part of talking about branding and how you do your brand when it is a personal brand business is obviously very different from your regular business brand that's kind of more of a logo and fonts and stuff like that, and you don't have that human element. And one of the big questions or challenges that some of my Business Jam clients have raised with me before is they're feeling stuck around how can they really show up and be themselves, because they want to be authentic and authentically themselves, but they also want to show up as someone who's professional, because it's important for their clients to obviously trust that they're going to be professional in their service and a good person to hire, right? So I thought, it's a funny question, but a great question, because it seems like we think these two things cancel each other out. Like you're either authentic or you're professional. And the question I always ask back is, well, why can't you be both? Is that not possible to be both? And when they think about it, they're like, I suppose it is, but when they start to think, how do they embody that? How do you show up as yourself and really show the real you, and also then be professional? They start to get all crunchy in their thinking and like, I just don't know how to do that. So I came up with a list of 7 things that you can think about, ways that can help you to be both authentic and professional, so that you don't have to pick between them. You can be both. And honestly, I think that if you're in any sort of expertise-led business where you're providing a service that you've got a lot of experience and you work with business owners that value things like quality and professionalism and good branding, then you probably want to nail this, right? So number 1, the first thing in my list of 7, remember that you can be a human, not a business. So even though you're representing your own business or a business, that doesn't mean that you are a business. You're still a person. And when it comes down to it, people are hiring you. They might be officially signing the contract to your business as if they're hiring the business, but actually they're doing it because they want to work with you or your team. But really, when you're the leader of your business, it's you, your way of doing things, your style, your vibe, what you're putting out there that they are in love with. And obviously, if you have a team working for you, then they should all be kind of in line with what that is, hold the same values, have the same ethic, definitely be living up to the same values that you do. So be human. That's absolutely fine. We don't have to suddenly sound robotic and suddenly start talking as if you're a business. One of the best ways to do this is to be really personal. So changing your the tense that you're speaking in from third person to first person. That adds it, because it instantly makes it feel far more like a one-on-one conversation as opposed to a business broadcasting out to the masses, right? So instead of saying we are or something in the plural, you say you, I, and speak in that singular messaging. That straight away speaks to them as if you're talking to them as a person. That's a simple one. Be a human. And it's okay to be human. It's okay to show some of you, show a face. There's so much research that's been done on the psychology of human connection. And you really cannot take anything away from how powerful it is when somebody can see another person, whether you're seeing them in person or as a photo or a video online. Create that human connection, because it is something that you absolutely need. Right. Number 2 is commit to your promises. So if you say you're going to do something, then do it. So this one is far more in the terms of how you be professional. And obviously the first tip I had was how you be authentic. But commit to your promises. So if you say that you're going to do something, if you've made a promise, whether it's to your audience, whether it's to a client, whether it's to your team, actually do it. Follow through on that promise. That is one of the things that you can do that really speaks professionalism 100%. 3, third tip is show up and actually do the work. So yes, you might be the leader of your business, whether you've got a team, whether it's you solo, doesn't matter. Same thing applies. Somebody who is professional shows up and does the work, right? And you can do that regardless of who you are and how you look. So a lot of people think, well, professionalism is all about how you look and you have to wear a suit and things like that. I'm like, oh, that's really old cultural thinking. You don't have to wear a suit to be professional. It's far more about the actions that you're taking and how you're showing up. Number 4, manage your emotions and keep some thoughts private. So I've got here, really focus on relevance and value. If you're going to say something publicly on your social media, maybe even commenting on other people's posts, just take that little moment to think before you press post. And even if you feel strongly about it, is it relevant? Are you adding value? Now, if you are responding because what they've said you felt sort of really triggered by and you want to respond or react to it, often those reactions aren't really going to show you in the best light, especially if you're not adding any value at all. Now, you can absolutely respond if you feel like I've got an important message to add to the conversation here, and you can do it in a very measured way where you're not emotional, we're not bringing in any kind of accusations or being rude or unprofessional, interestingly, to that other person. You can absolutely take part in discussions, have an opinion. Part of being human is having an opinion, right? So yes, have an opinion. What I'm saying is take a moment, breathe, pause before you hit post, and just really consider, am I adding value? Am I being relevant? Or am I simply reacting to something that someone said and responding to it that is actually not relevant in terms of my business? So when I'm talking relevance, it's like maybe someone's saying a political view and you might have the opposite political view. If your business has got zero to do with it, you really want to think about, well, do you want to get into this discussion or not? It's not relevant from your business's perspective, anything to do with it, right? If you're not in the political realm, if you don't work with people in that space, then it's got no relevance at all. And therefore, you're probably unlikely to be adding value. But if it's a discussion that is in your zone of what you work in, so for me, if it was anything to do with online business, marketing strategy, even coaching, and gosh, there are a lot of posts people make. I see them on social media, just somebody gets on there with a little gripe in their bee in their bonnet and they want to slate the whole coaching industry. Like they do these gross generalizations. They try to red flag and tear people down. And I think, whoa, somebody's having a little moment there. Maybe they should go and have a look at why they're feeling this way before they make a post. And those are the moments where it is non-professional, right? You're posting because you're feeling the need to have a rant. Well, is this rant valuable? Some people are doing it because they are trying to work the algorithm. They're trying to get people to respond. So they're doing it on purpose to stir up a bit of dirt. So if you're going to comment, just think about, well, how is this going to be coming across? Am I coming across as someone adding value, who's measured, who's professional, or am I coming across as somebody who's been triggered by it and I'm now opening up my, full emotions with absolutely no control over them and saying something back? So there are two very different ways to respond, and please just take that moment, take a breath, pause, have a think about it, and be fair and measured in your response. You can definitely have a strong opinion. Just make sure it's coming through without with that filter on of value. Am I adding value? Okay. Now, number 5, we're up to. So I told you this is going to be short and quick. Share the lesson, not the messy middle. Yes, this is one of the things that I very strongly suggest to my clients. It's really great to be vulnerable, to share stories, to share stuff that you've done, because it helps people to connect with you. And this is all about being human. So, but going back to number 1, humans make mistakes. We all do. We find ourselves in sticky situations. We've been through the dirt, the muck, the trenches in whatever journey that you've been on, in business, in life. Everybody's had ups